Hello everyone, welcome to the workshop. I thought today I might just give a little talk on design and design stages and design principles. Design is part of any project, unless you're going for a sort of out of your head creative moment, which all of us from time to time do. I occasionally put a piece of wood on the lathe and I'll spin it and create something just straight out of my head. But that often comes with very unexpected, unpredictable results. So, and it's fine if that's what you want to do, but normally on a project, we design stuff. We think about what we're going to do. So if we look at the stages of this, we start with the creative bit where you think, I'm going to build something or I'm going to make something. In the case of the example I'm going to talk you through in this video, it's a wardrobe. So I thought, I could build a wardrobe. My wife wants a wardrobe. We need a wardrobe. We have a rail with clothes on it and there's not enough space, and it's desperately needed. So I said, actually, the shops don't have a wardrobe that we really want. Why don't I make a wardrobe that suits us? And she said, okay, if you can do that, that's great. We decided between us how the wardrobe should look. We decided that it should be, sort of have a nice sort of panelled solid wood appearance to it, and it should have all the different shelves and hanging that we need. So what I started to do then was to put that into a written design. Now, some people sketch things out and some people do things on computer. I tend to do both. I tend to sketch things at first to say, how about this idea? And to show what I'm thinking of to others that are interested. I get their feedback, and then what I eventually do is do something either handwritten, that's a scale drawing, or I do something on computer that's a scale drawing. So in this case, I've done a scale drawing on the computer. I've used Visio to do this. This is the doors. There are two pairs of doors. They're panelled. There's sides as well, so this is more panelled sides. And then if I go through this, you can see that there's a view from inside the wardrobe. And above there we've got the view from above, and then we've got the view from the side again. And then if I go to the next page, it looks at the view from behind. So we've effectively got every view of the wardrobe with the doors open and with the doors shut. What we then do is look at what materials we need to make that, and I drew up a cutting list. These are obviously very scruffy bits of paper because I've actually been making this wardrobe, and I can show you some of the stuff I've been doing. So we've got a cutting list that shows what I would need to make this design that I've drawn up. In that cutting list, I also have some sheet panels, which make up the sort of back and the top and the bottom and the shelves. And there's another one there. So we have a full comprehensive scale drawing with a full list of everything we need to make it from a timber point of view. Now, what I haven't done in here is start listing nails and screws and the sort of ironmongery, hinges, that type of thing, because I'm not really at that stage yet, but I could, if I wanted to, I could be going to that level. What I was thinking about when I was drawing this up was how the different areas would potentially be jointed together. So I know, for example, in my head, that these panels on these doors are going to be inset into grooves in the sides and the tops and the transoms, so that they're in place in a way that a traditional door is made. So they're panels that are surrounding their frames surrounding panels. Also, I'm thinking that these horizontal components will be tenoned into mortises in the side components. So we have lots of mortise and tenon joints, and that those would be held in place by driving wedges into the tenons, in the traditional door making way, because I really want this to be a traditional wardrobe. So that's the design. We've gone from the creative thing where we've sort of thought, I want a wardrobe, to what's that actually going to look like in sort of thinking of the general sort of concept design in the sketches that we talk about with others, to then go into a sort of a much more detailed design that's more about how you would build it. This is like sort of construction type drawings. Now, what I then did, and this is a really important stage, is looked at whether I could actually get hold of all of the materials on my cutting list. Now that's sometimes where and it's a really important stage, because this is sometimes where we run into difficulties. Now, I took a trip to well, first I sent an email to several sawmills that are local to me here. We wanted this to be an oak wardrobe in its appearance, from the front and sides at least, and I reached out to some sawmills and I said, okay, could you provide me with what I need in this list? And the answer that came back was no, that's not the sizes that we cut to. And of course I didn't know what they cut to. I could have asked them first. That might have been a better way around, but actually it doesn't matter, because this is all on computer, so I could change it quite easily. So I said to them, okay, well, what do you do? And the one that I ended up choosing says, well, this is the standard size of blank hardwood timber, oak or ash or whatever I wanted. That's the size that they cut to, that they then provide to workshops and people like me to make stuff. And this is 140 millimeters wide by 24 millimeters thick by I think the lengths are about 2.5 meters, 2.4. It's probably what is that, an 8 foot length? Anyway, that's their standard size. And when you go to the sawmill, they have racks and racks of this stuff, all air drying, ready to be bought and used to make great things. So I said to them, okay, that's great. That blank, I can work with that blank. I can redesign my sketches, my drawings, my construction drawings. I can redo those by just making sizes bigger or smaller or whatever to make it the most efficient using this size. And that's the drawing that we now have here. That's actually got those sizes on it. So what you'll find is that the main transoms in the middle and the bottoms of these doors, that is that thickness. And if you look at the side pieces, it's half of that thickness. So that all I need to do is rip a piece of wood in half with the saw, and I get two pieces from one without any other cutting. So really, trying to make this design as efficient as I can based on the known supply size from my chosen sawmill. Fantastic. So what I've then gone on to do, of course, is to buy the material and assess it. And what I then found was another thing to accommodate was some of the wood they provide, without destroying the lights, is heartwood. Now, heartwood comes from the core of the tree, and it's a darker colour to the sort of lighter outer wood, which is what this is. And you'll notice if I put these two together, they are very, very different in colour. So what I then had to do was say, okay, you're providing me with some light wood and some dark wood, or heartwood. I don't want there to be really obvious different bits on my doors and my sides that are obviously heartwood, where the rest is light, or the other way around. I could do it all out of heartwood, or I could do it all out of lighter wood, but they provide both, and it's a bit of a mix, so you kind of get what you're given, which is a bit of a shame. I suppose I could have pushed them for to go one way or the other, but I actually wanted to use what the tree gives me. So and it was an interesting challenge. So what I've chosen to do, because there's not that many heartwood boards, there's another heartwood board there actually, there's not that many of them. So what I said is, okay, I'll use the heartwood for the internal trimmings. So when you open the doors of the wardrobe, every shelf has an oak edge, and every upright has an oak edge, and some of the bits and bobs are made of oak within there. Let's see if I can find the drawing that shows some of that. So there we go, there's a plan there of the shelf, and you can see the side of the shelf and the front of the shelf is trimmed with an edge. It's a plywood shelf, but it's got an oak finish to it to make it look nice, so that you're staring at solid wood, even though that's a kind of a facade to a plywood sort of strong substructure. Anyway, I decided to use heartwood for that and the lightwood for everything else. That way I've got over that inconsistency. So another design tweak at that sort of construction stage. So there's always going to be changes at construction stage from these drawings. And it's entirely possible, as many of you will know if you've worked on projects, that the construction drawings, and that's what they tend to be called in the construction industry, the construction drawings don't end up being the final drawings. Your as-built drawings, which are the ones that relate to what you've actually done at the end, they're the ones that you would then use for things like maintenance of it, if it requires maintenance. And you need to say to someone that here's my wardrobe, I'd like every year for you to make sure that it's okay. And that, they might do some checks on it, but they would use drawings and references for maintenance, which are as built rather than construction issue. And that'll be the next stage that these go on to. So in this project, I asked for the sawmill to help me with the panel material, and they were able to. And this was really quite important, because although they do this blank, I needed something thinner for my panels. So my panels need to fit within this, and what I did was, although this is not quite in the right place because this was a test, but I want a groove down the sides of all of my pieces. So all of these uprights for the doors have a groove down the inside of them, and into that groove I want to slot a panel. So that's a thinner piece of wood. And what the sawmill said to me is, it might be a bit tricky, but we'll give it a go. We'll take one of these original blank pieces and we'll run it through the saw with the blade going down the centre of it. And I said, okay, give it a go and tell me how well you get on. And they came back with success. So we now have these pieces, which, as you can see, are pretty whippy, pretty bendy, but also half the thickness of the original blanks. Less the thickness of the saw blade, of course, which took the saw blade's thickness out of the middle, which was sort of 3 or 4 millimeters. They were just about able to do it on their saw. It was quite a precision job, and they did a bit of fiddling about before they got it right, but there was enough of these that they were able to cut, that I've been able to use them, start using them as blanking material for the panels. Now, to make the panels, I needed to join them together, and I'll go into that in some of my construction videos for the wardrobe. I'm going to see if I can do a bit of a series on that. But suffice to say, I've ended up with panels, pieces of panel wood that have got grooves down them that I've been able to join together to make panels. And those panels have then come together to make the doors. And these are jointed as I said they would be, which is really hard to get low enough on the head. Let's do a lower one. There we go. So we have a joint coming through there, which has got the wedges in it, exactly as I had in my mind when I originally thought of it. The thickness of the panels, and therefore the depth of the groove, is very much defined by the thickness the panels were made to by the sawmill, and I had to buy a cutter for my router, spindle moulder, to suit it. And that's a change to the design as well. When I originally thought of this, I was thinking there'll be 10mm thick panels. I just kind of thought of a number. Well, now I know that actually they're 9mm or 9.5, depending on the door I'm making. Some of them, there's a slight variance from the sawmill because some of the blanks were thicker to start with. So I've got a couple of different cutters that go with the different blanks. What you'll see on these panels is numbers, and these are very deliberately put on there because they relate to the numbers and letters that are on my drawing. So I marked out every piece that I'm cutting, and when I actually started this project, I cut all of the pieces of wood ready to make up the different panels and the doors, panels and doors, other way around, to make up the panels and the doors before I began assembling it, so that I knew that I had all the parts and I could make the doors and the panels. I haven't bought the plywood, but they're standard sizes. I know that I can buy those from lots of different suppliers. I've looked up and found them. It may be a challenge to get oak-faced plywood, but I'm less concerned about that because it's all internal, and as long as it's consistent, it's going to be good enough. A lot of it will be covered by clothes anyway. So yeah, really interesting. Anyway, so those are really the sort of principles of design. Concept in your head, put that down into some kind of rough sketch, talk to other people, stakeholders if you like, if you're in business. They're people that have an interest in what you're going to make. It might be that you're going to give someone something and you say, I'm thinking of making you this, what do you think? And they might go, yeah, great, that'd be fantastic. Can you make sure that it's got that on it? You know, making you a chair, for example. Okay, make sure it's got a nice high back, and it's straight, because my back gives me jib, and it'd be really nice to have a back. Anyway, design requirements of the final customer is really important. So concept stage, sketches, talk to your customer, get that concept agreed, then move into your granular design, which is obviously what I did here. Adapt the design to suit the materials that are available, and then go into construction, and expect that during construction there will be changes too, things that you didn't realise. So your construction drawings have to be updated, and you can see on here there's lots of bits of scribble where I've put things down going, oh heck, that's not going to work. How am I going to change that so that it works? And I've then kind of amended these, and I'll be crossing out measurements. There are some on here where I've crossed them out. That's no longer that measurement. It's changed, and that's for good reason. So I've decided, I'm the auditor, it's my design, I've changed it, and now it's changed. So my construction drawings are changing along the way. And when I finished it, if I needed to, and I probably won't bother with this wardrobe because it's, you know, kind of a zero maintenance thing anyway, but if I needed to, for something that needs maintenance, I would draw a new set or adapt this set, update it with what's actually happened to create an operational maintenance set of drawings. And that's the set that would be used to look after it. So there we go, the different stages of design drawings. I hope that's useful. I hope it gives you some insight into you know, the different steps that you should be expecting to do. I think if you follow all of those, you can't really go too far wrong. So there you have it. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and hopefully any new videos will pop up as they come, and you might be interested in those too. Cheers, guys. Have a great day.